June 29th, 2013, I died in Jewish hospital that night. I'm telling you, I did. I just suffered my 7th stroke. I was paralyzed from the neck down. I couldn't see. I couldn't talk. I was just laying in bed, and I was in between death and life. I was in between there. What can I say? And that's when I got to know the supernatural God and the supernatural Satan. In that instant, in between the two worlds, I knew I was going to hell. But I knew I wasn't going to heaven. Okay, I'd done what I'd done, and I knew it, and I was horribly sad and just fearful and scared, and I cried out to God with all my might. And there's a line in Jeremiah, I think it's 29:13, where he says, "You will seek me and you will find me when you seek me with all of your heart." And that's what I did. I shouted out to God in my mind, "Please, God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Knowing that you don't do that. You don't go back on Satan. Once you've made a deal with Satan and you've been in cahoots with him for the last, decade, you don't go back on him, because if you do, that means you don't get that cool spot in hell. That means you get tortured in hell. At least that's what you think. But here's the thing. I had my come to Jesus moment at that moment when I cried out to God with all of my heart. I had my come to Jesus moment. And it went like this. A question was posed in my mind. So why are you in this state? Why are you lying here dying, dead, no family? You had 50 million girlfriends, you never got married. You had sex all the time, you never had a kid. You had a job for 30 straight years, you never ever had a career, all these questions were posed to me, and I could have lied. There were 1,000 different answers I could have given, but there's only one true answer. And the true answer was not the drugs. It was not that I was tricked. It was not a victim of circumstance. I made a conscious effort to draw near to Satan, to resist God and draw near to Satan. And what happened was, I told the truth. First time in 25 years, I told the truth. So whatever that thing was that was asking me this question, I told the truth, knowing that if it was Satan asking me this question, that's my ask. But it wasn't Satan. It was God. And very similar to Paul's come to Jesus moment on the road to Damascus, if you've ever read Acts, it's chapter 9, 3-6. Very similar. He's asked a question, "Paul, why do you persecute me?" And the same thing happened with me. I got asked the question, I answered it honestly, and at that moment, just pure freedom and cleanliness, it just washed over me. And I was saved. I was saved. I knew I was saved. And then another question was posed in my mind. It was like, okay, now, what would you say to Satan? If you could say anything to Satan, what would you say to him? And in my mind, it just came to me. It said, "Get behind me, Satan." And, fully well knowing that you don't do stuff like that when you've made this deal. When you made this deal with the devil, you don't say things like, "Get behind me, Satan." I'm telling you, man, you don't stab Satan in the back. And it was very scary in that instant, but then it went away again. And I was saved. I knew I was saved. And the weird part is, that was probably 3 o'clock in the morning when I'd lost touch with time. I had no idea. The weird part is, they had called my parents in. My parents were in the room when I opened my eyes up after this thing, and I was able to mouth the words, "It's all okay, I've been saved." That was like 3 o'clock in the morning. This has been told to me by my parents and by the doctors. So I don't remember any of it. But after that, they left, and I was so peaceful. I fell asleep, and I got attacked again. I got attacked, and it's like, did God really just save you? Did you really just get saved? And the strangest thing ever, I had a vision of me in a greenhouse, hooked into a line where I was being nurtured by Jesus. And then a statement hit my head. It said, "Now do you believe?" And when I started studying the Bible sometime later, I read John 15:5. And it said that, I am the vine and you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And at that moment, I learned 2 things. One, the Gospel according to John is the White Album of the Bible. It's the best thing in the Bible. And the other thing is, this is why I'm crazy. This is why I do the things I do to this day. That's why I don't ever mind putting it out there, no matter how weird it is for anybody to see. And the only caveat to the whole situation is you're not free of the attacks. The attacks continue to this day.